The day Andy Griffith completely lost it on set. Andy Griffith spent decades building a reputation as one of the kindest men in television. The cast knew him as the guy who laughed first, calmed everyone else down, and somehow made every set feel like home. That's why One Day still stands out. Not because he argued with someone, not because of Hollywood drama, but because, for a few heartbreaking minutes, the man who almost never raised his voice completely fell apart. And strangely enough, that moment tells you more about Andy Griffith than all 8 seasons of The Andy Griffith Show ever could. When people think about Andy Griffith, they usually picture Sheriff Andy Taylor. Calm, patient, always knowing exactly the right thing to say. For years, I assumed that was simply who Andy Griffith was. Then I started learning about the man behind the badge, and I realized something. The kindness was real. But so was the pain. Andy Griffith entered the world in June of 1926 in the tiny town of Mount Airy, North Carolina. There were no signs that he would become one of television's biggest stars. Actually, there were plenty of signs suggesting the opposite. His family struggled financially from the beginning. Money was so scarce that, for a period of time, relatives had to help care for him because his parents simply couldn't provide everything a newborn needed. Even after the family was reunited, life remained difficult. When Andy's father finally saved enough money to buy a house, there was almost nothing inside it. No nursery, no crib, no fancy furniture. His first bed wasn't really a bed at all. His parents placed him inside a dresser drawer because it was the safest place they had. Every time I hear that story, it amazes me. Imagine beginning life in a drawer and ending it as one of America's most beloved entertainers. As a boy, Andy wasn't the loudest kid in town. Friends often described him as shy. Growing up poor had a way of making him feel invisible. Then music entered his life. Everything changed. Soon after came acting, then comedy, and suddenly the quiet kid realized something important. He could make people smile. Once he discovered that gift, there was no turning back. Instead of trying to disappear into the background, he started searching for audiences. One person deserves enormous credit for helping that transformation happen. A minister named Ed Mickey. He taught Andy how to play instruments, encouraged him to sing, pushed him toward performing. Interestingly, Andy originally thought those lessons would lead him into ministry rather than entertainment. After graduating from high school in 1944, he enrolled at the University of North Carolina intending to study theology. He genuinely believed he might become a preacher. Life had other plans. The stage kept calling louder than the pulpit ever could. Eventually, he switched his focus to music, earning a degree that opened doors he never expected. College wasn't just about classes. Andy threw himself into productions, performances, and student organizations. The more time he spent on stage, the more obvious it became. This wasn't a hobby anymore. It was who he was. Still, Hollywood wasn't waiting outside the campus gates. Not even close. After graduation, Andy became a music and drama teacher at a high school in North Carolina. Honestly, I love this chapter because it feels so ordinary. No glamorous movie sets, no red carpets. Just a young teacher trying to inspire students. One of those students eventually became Carl Cassell, the legendary NPR broadcaster. Neither of them could have known they'd both become famous in completely different ways. Life has a funny sense of timing.